read to me the nameplate?
Judge Eboni K Williams.
So the only thing that matters in this particular courtroom is how I see it. I am from North Carolina by way of Louisiana with some West Coast cool and a New York edge. Do we have a problem, ma'am?
No, I don't, Your Honor.
Equal justice is all about the most important values of our country: freedom, integrity, and those are the things that I'm striving for. Ma'am, you run your household, this man gets to run his. I decided to become an attorney and pursue the law. I wanted to be a voice for the voiceless. This court cannot hold this woman accountable. People from all sectors of life, black, white, purple, gay, straight, queer, and that's what equal justice with Judge Eboni K Williams is all about.
Charlize Diaz claims her vintage motorcycle sidecar was damaged after her friend left it out in the rain. Darnell Alvarez says the cover blew off the bike while he was out of town. Mr. Alvarez is countersuing for $378.
I see I have Charlize Diaz here as my plaintiff and Darnell Alvarez as my defendant. Ms. Diaz, you are suing the defendant for $850, but Mr. Alvarez has a claim of his own. Countersuit in the amount of $378. Ms. Diaz, I'll start with you. Why are we in court today?
So I'm here today because the defendant, Darnell, I've known him for about 2 years. We met in truck driving school. And at the time, I had recently inherited a 1999 Yamaha Venture motorcycle from my father. But I've only really driven motorcycles as a passenger. So I had no intention to keep the motorcycle. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna sell it. I did get an appraisal. I would get $1,000 to $3,000 for it. However, when it starts, it had motor issues. It would start and then it would turn back off and stuff. So I mentioned this to Darnell, and he mentioned to me that he used to work as a mechanic and he has experience working on motorcycles. So he offered to do some repairs and to take a look at it, do some repairs. And I said, great, awesome, that sounds really, really great. Luckily, I have a neighbor, Joan, and her husband, they own a towing company. So they were able to transport it for me and stuff. And so Darnell, because he was just doing this from his home, from his garage and stuff, he only charged me for the parts. And I said, okay, great, that's wonderful. So.
Is that correct, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, great. And do you have a receipt for how much the parts were?
No.
Okay, but go ahead, continue.
Okay, so I told him that I was in no rush to have it repaired. So he got it done in about a month. I was not in town and stuff, so I let him know I'm not there. Is it okay if I leave it at your house? He said yes, that was going to be fine. I offered to pay him storage fees.
How much was the storage fee that you were going to offer, ma'am?
$20 a week.
$20 a week, okay. You also agreed, Mr. Alvarez, to the $20 a week storage rate?
Oh, yes, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead.
And then he told me that he'd leave my motorcycle key in my mailbox. So I got back into town. I took my time.
How many weeks were you away, ma'am?
I was away for about 5 months.
You said 5 months?
Yes.
Where were you, ma'am?
So I was on a work trip. First, I went out to Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah, so I started off in Arizona, and then I went over to Texas.
You moved. You moved, and then you moved back. Upon your return, you go to your mailbox to retrieve your motorcycle key, and what do you find?
My motorcycle key. So the key is there. Everything is there. And when I get there, I find my motorcycle outside of the shed. I was under the impression that it was going to be stored inside the shed. There is a plastic over it, but it's only covering the front side of the motorcycle. So the sidecar seat and the back tire is totally exposed. It had rained, so there was the floor of the seat was flooded. The leather seats were rotten, and there was mold. It was starting to mold on the side of the sidecar seat.
Oh no.
So there was severe weather damage, and I was furious. I was like, what? It was not properly stored. I was under the impression that I could trust Darnell with the storage, and I said, hey, what the hell? Why is it like this? And so what I did, I got it repaired because I wanted to sell it. I'm not trying to hold on to this motorcycle.
Right.
So it gets repaired, and that's why I'm here today.
So you were able to get the motorcycle repaired. If I'm to understand you correctly, Ms. Diaz, and I need to, so help me out here.
Yes.
The motorcycle itself, the engine, the mechanics of it were fine.
Yes.
But it's this sidecar piece that was damaged.
Yes.
Do you have a receipt for how much you spent to repair it?
Yes.
And do you have photos of the damage?
Yes.
Okay, give everything to my bailiff and let us all take a look here. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
So let me see these photos of the damage to the vehicle itself? The scrapes and all this stuff on the side I'm seeing?
Yes, so the side there's scrapes, it's moldy.
So this is what you're saying, the seats and everything were starting to deteriorate?
Yes.
Okay, so you couldn't sell it in this condition, not for a good value. So you did pay money. It looks like you got the sidecar restored, the damage to the seating for $850 you paid?
Yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Alvarez, Ms. Diaz is saying that this is all your fault because you did not store her beloved motorcycle in the proper condition. And you say what?
I offered to store it. I had a canopy outside my shed. It doesn't have walls, but it has a roof. And I put a tarp over it, a plastic tarp, and I put rocks on it.
The plastic tarp, sir, this was over the entire motorcycle?
Yes, Your Honor.
Including the sidecar?
Yes, Your Honor.
Coming up on Equal Justice.
You were lucky the motorcycle even was still there when you got back, to be honest with you, ma'am. I don't know what kind of world you're living in, but we don't live in that kind of world. You leave something for 5 months, you're out of pocket.
And later,
So the batteries are dead. I might have said a few things to James. I was very angry, and he proceeds to break up with me in the heat of the moment.
if you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. This is Equal Justice. Equal Justice is back with a case of Charlize Diaz, who blames Darnell Alvarez for her damaged vintage motorcycle.
So you kind of have like a carport, is what we used to call it back in my day.
Yes,
So
Your
it's
Honor.
not a garage where it's fully enclosed, but it's a carport. It's a structure with legs, and then it's got something over the top.
Yes, Your Honor.
So then one could reasonably understand, Mr. Alvarez, if it's just a carport situation, wind and dust and hail and all of the elements are going to still be able to get inside of whatever is under that carport. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you understood that.
Yes.
And you knew he didn't have a garage. You knew he had just a carport.
Yes, he has a shed though. Like I know that that's where he works out of. So I was under the impression.
Well, did
that-
you ask a clarifying question, Ms. Diaz, to ensure that your vehicle would be in the shed? That's yes or no?
No.
No. Okay. So you were storing it in the carport. The court is going to deem that that's sufficient. But why was it not covered effectively, sir, to prohibit this type of damage?
I was out of town, Your Honor. I don't know what could happen in Virginia weather up in Roanoke. It could be the wind, an active
Okay,
drought.
so I hear you saying that you did not do anything to ensure that this woman's vehicle, which was going to be stored under your carport with only a tarp covering to keep it from the elements. That's what you thought was sufficient.
Yes.
And did you get your $20 a week in storage fee?
I did not. After I was just notified that there was damage from the leather.
So you just decided not to pay the storage fee at all?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, exactly. Okay, that's interesting. So you are countersuing. Is that where the $378 comes from?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so you want your storage fee, but you're saying you're not paying the storage fee, and why is that?
Because it's damaged. If this, I would have just stored it at my house. I have a carport too. Like I paid for the convenience. It was already at his house. He said he had a space in his shed. I was under the impression that it was going to be inside the shed, not just under a carport.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Alvarez. Did you get any money? Because you did do some work on this vehicle, correct?
Yes.
Okay, did you get any money from the plaintiff, even for the parts or anything?
I received $275 just for the parts.
Do you have a receipt for that?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, well, go ahead and give your evidentiary folder to my bailiff. Let me see what you do have. Okay, thank you, sir. So this was you requesting the $378 from the plaintiff,
Yes, Your Honor.
and this is outstanding till this day?
Correct.
Okay. All right, well, this is quite interesting. Now the vehicle is repaired, though, correct, ma'am?
Yes.
Because you paid $850, and you are preparing to sell it.
Yes.
Okay. And when you sell it, you should be able to get between $1,000 and $3,000 for it?
Yes.
Here's what I think, Mr. Alvarez, and I am prepared to make my ruling. I've gotten the facts I need. I believe that you were trying to do a good deed, and you wanted to help your colleague in a situation. Where you got yourself into some trouble, Mr. Alvarez, was kind of over-promising and under-delivering. You promised to store the vehicle, and kind of implicit in that type of promise, Mr. Alvarez, so you know going forward, is that you're going to uphold a certain duty of care, that you're going to care for her motorcycle in the same manner that you would care for your own property. Instead, I kind of get a nonchalant attitude from you, Mr. Alvarez. Well, I was out of town. It was the best I could do, blah, blah, blah. Well, that is going to cost you, sir. That's going to cost you the $850 that she had to spend to get it up to snuff so she could sell it. Now, that said, Ms. Diaz, you're not out of the dark here, okay? You're not out of the woods, I should say here, Ms. Diaz. You could have easily, if you knew you were going to be gone for 5 months, I cannot believe that you cared but so much about your vehicle to leave it anywhere, not even your mama's house, for 5 months. It seems like you should have, at that point, done your diligence, retrieved your vehicle in a timely fashion to make sure that the care of the vehicle was at the utmost level. And you were lucky the motorcycle even was still there when you got back, to be honest with you, ma'am. I don't know what kind of world you're living in, but we don't live in that kind of world. You leave something for 5 months, you're out of pocket. So I'm gonna propose that while I don't think you did a great job of caring for it, I do believe that you tried to do something good. I believe you did do the repair work. She owes you $378 for storage. I don't think you did a great job at the storage because it left a lot to be desired, hence the damage that the motorcycle rather, and the sidecar ensued. So I'm going to say that she needs to pay you $200 for the storage, okay? And you do, ma'am, because storing anything, even poorly stored, does warrant some compensation, okay? So the counterclaim is going to be awarded, but not for the $378 you asked, only for the $200 that I'm ordering, okay? So that's your counterclaim. Ma'am, your claim of $850 is going to be rewarded in full. So the court is ruling in favor of the plaintiff for your full amount, $850. Defendant's counterclaim is awarded, but only for $200. That is my ruling.
All rise.
Judge Eboni has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $650.
I'm glad justice was served. A little upset that I have to pay the $200, but at least I'm getting the $850.
I'm not happy I lost, but I just wish our friendship was stronger than that.
Coming up on Equal Justice.
15 minutes in, my camera dies. James had unplugged my charger and plugged his laptop in instead.
So did you think it was wise to unplug the camera?
This is Equal Justice. Sarah Tillman claims her careless boyfriend kept her from finishing an out-of-town photo shoot on time. James Mayfield says Miss Tillman broke her promise to pay for his trip. Mr. Mayfield is countersuing for $54.34.
Sarah Tillman here as my plaintiff. I see you are suing the defendant, James Mayfield, for $642. Mr. Mayfield, you've got your own countersuit in the amount of $54.34. Very precise there. Ms. Tillman, why are we in court today?
I was recently commissioned for a job out in Fairbanks, Alaska. I'm a photographer, and they paid for the entire trip. And on the last night, my ex-boyfriend now kind of ruined my chances of completing the job. But I'm suing him for $642. I had to extend my trip. I have copies of the receipts.
Go ahead and give all your evidence, ma'am, to my bailiff. Thank you.
It was an extra fee to change my flight, to extend the rental car, and to extend the hotel.
What type of images do you take?
Time lapses and hyperlapses. They're similar. I actually have a video that I brought to court of
I would love to see your work.
Project that I did end up completing.
Wow. Okay, so this is what you were ultimately able to capture.
Yes. This seems to be a theme with my ex-boyfriend. It seemed like he would get a little bit jealous if I had something exciting going on.
Okay.
So he invited himself. I spoke with the producers. They said it was okay. They paid for everything, so I offered, I'm paying for lodging, I'm covering transportation, and I had my flight covered, but he bought his own flight. So everything was set.
Okay.
And the first 2 nights, the weather wasn't great for the photography. There were clouds in the sky. So on the 3rd night, it was perfect.
Coming up on Equal Justice.
Every other night I plugged it back in and there was no problem, so.
Did you plug it back in this time?
I forgot once.
You forgot once. I hate when that happens. Well, I am about to do something that's probably going to shock some people in this courtroom.
This is Equal Justice. Equal Justice is back with a dispute between Sarah Tillman and her ex-boyfriend, James Mayfield, over a botched photo gig.
I head to the site and I set up my camera. 15 minutes in, my camera dies. I go to the backup battery, that one's dead as well. So I drove all the way back to the hotel where I found that James had unplugged my charger and plugged his laptop in instead. So the batteries are dead. I might have said a few things to James. I was very angry, and he proceeds to break up with me in the heat of the moment. Our flight is scheduled for the next day, but at this point, I know I need to stay a couple of extra days to get the shot.
Sure.
I'm not leaving without it. So I extend my trip. This is when I spend the $642. I paid out of pocket. I felt it would be incredibly unprofessional to request that they pay for anything because it's not a professional reason that my battery died. But James, he still wanted to leave and his scheduled flight, so he figured his way to the airport.
Okay. Sir, I know you've got some evidence for me as well.
Yes, I do.
Give everything to my bailiff. Thank you, sir.
This is a conversation that we had that confirmed that her contract would in fact cover transportation and housing.
For you?
As far as I understand it, yes.
Did you tell him that, ma'am?
I did.
If you buy your plane ticket, I can take care of any transportation, lodging because of my contract. So this is you, ma'am. Anyways, James, I see you've included a receipt here for your ride share.
Yes.
This is what, you going to the airport without her?
Yep.
So did you think it was wise to unplug the camera?
There are 2 outlets in this entire room, and every other night I plugged it back in and there was no problem, so
Did
if
you
I
plug it
forgot
back in
once-
this time?
I forgot once.
You forgot once. Oh, man. I hate when that happens. Well, you know, I am about to do something that's probably going to shock some people in this courtroom.
Judge Eboni's verdict when Equal Justice returns. This is Equal Justice.
I'm gonna roll with the defendant on this one, ma'am. I actually believe that you set all of this in motion. I believe that it is time out for anybody, but let alone working women in America, to believe that they need to so desperately avail themselves to romantic partnership that they are willing to undermine their own professional credibility. Okay, and I believe that's what you've done here. And it reeks of poor judgment. So I believe per the text message, you promised an all expenses paid trip. You told this man that the only thing he had to show up with is his suitcase and a plane ticket, and it was all gonna be on you. So I'm gonna make you stand in that in this courtroom today. As for the $54.34 countersuit, petty as it is, I think it's consistent with the promise that was made to you. I sure do. I think that I'm going to award the defendant's countersuit in full, and I'm also dismissing your claim in its entirety. The plaintiff's claim is dismissed. The defendant's countersuit is awarded. That is my ruling. I hope you've learned your lesson, young lady.
Judge Eboni has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff is ordered to pay $54.34.
Any final thoughts for each other?
$50 is not a huge amount to pay to get away from this guy, so.
Wow. Well, you gave it a good shot, but I guess truth always wins out.
Okay, you've had your day in court. Please follow me. Ladies first.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.